Hello and welcome to Got Clutter, Get Organized, the conversation. I am excited. I always get excited when I have a good friend, but also an expert join us. I have Connie Mackey. She is Buy Without Realtors. I know a lot of you are probably going through that process, trying to get a home, and you just are just confused and unorganized, which is why I wanted to bring Connie on so we can have a conversation. So, Connie, thank you so much for joining us.
Janet, I can't tell you how excited I am to be on your show. I just love you.
I love you too, Connie. But before we get into what we should be doing, what we shouldn't be doing, what made you decide to start Buy Without Realtors?
Well, that's interesting because back in March of 2024, I was reading about the lawsuit that NAR, the National Association of Realtors, was a part of. And this is where the sellers are no longer required to pay for the buyer's agent's commission. And so I started thinking about, my gosh, the buyers have so much that they have to spend for their down payment, for their closing cost, and now they're going to be responsible to pay for their buyer's agents, for the agent's commission. And I just thought that is just, it's just too much on a buyer. And I also know that, mortgage brokers as well as realtors, they have the for sale by own, I mean, not, I'm sorry, not for sale by owner. They have the first time home buyer seminars,
Mm-hmm.
but they always have an ulterior motive, to get clients. So I started thinking, I had taught sellers with my for sale by owner business how to sell their own home. Why can't I sell or help buyers buy their own home? And I don't have any ulterior motive other than to help them through the process. So from there, Buy Without Realtors was born. And so here I am. I am helping buyers buy their own home just like a realtor would.
I am so excited, and I know a lot of your clients are as well. So, Connie, in that process, when we are buying, what are some of the things that we really shouldn't be doing? Because it can get overwhelming with all, the information, and then they give you the checklist. But what are some of the things that when we say, you know what, I want to buy something, but maybe we should just like, not do this, not do that. What are some of those things?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. There is a lot. It is a process, and you really do need to have somebody that you can kind of bounce ideas off of. But some of the things that a person needs to do is that they have got to plan. They have got to know what they want. And they need to, my favorite thing, research. They have got to research the market, know what the market is doing. They've got to do a little bit of it. And especially with my company, with Buy Without Realtors, what I am teaching people is how to do market research and how to plan, how to actually organize themselves so that they can buy a house. So I take them step by step by step on how they can better organize themselves and set themselves up for success in buying their own home. And understand too that the process is extensive. So you have got to really, kind of be in control of it. But this is your house. You should be in control of buying your own house as opposed to allowing someone else to take over the process for you.
And as you were saying that, another question popped in my head. Are people unrealistic about maybe the time that's needed to do this? Are they
Mm,
jumping in
mm.
saying, hey, oh, I'm going to do this in like maybe a couple of weeks?
Oh, yeah.
Or
Oh,
are they really thinking like, you know what, I need to allow myself enough time so maybe I don't get overwhelmed or anxious, etc., or
oh
stressed
my
out?
gosh. Oh my gosh. That you are so correct. It does take time, especially when you're doing it on your own. And I tell you, I walk people through a timeline of what to expect. I also have an ebook that gives you a checklist of what to expect when you're trying to buy a home on your own. It is not something that is going to be 2 weeks. It is going to be a long process. So, yeah, it's not for the faint of heart. It definitely is not you, but it can be done. And this is something that a lot of people, I don't know of any other company out there that is teaching this other than Buy Without Realtors. No one's teaching people how to take them step by step with contacting an attorney, the title and escrow, the process of mortgage. I mean, all of that entire process, just taking them through the steps. So, yes, it is not something that you're going to do overnight, and you've got to be involved with the whole process.
And I like what you said about the planning because you started naming all the different things and also the timeline as well. And what are some of, because I think sometimes people go into it like, okay, I've got a good credit score, I've got the money, and they get happy. But I'm sure there's other types of information. And some of the things I try to tell people, at least once they've gotten the property, can you keep all the information organized? But what are some of the things, maybe a couple of documents that they actually don't think about, but they really should have when they are in their process?
Yes, well, Janet, this is such a good segue. Thank you so much. I just put together a new e-course, and it walks people step by step by step on what to do. And in the course, it talks about checklist. I provide checklists and templates for how people can be organized, as well as action steps that they need to do every step of the way of the process. So it is very detailed, and very organized. And my course also talks about what to do after you buy the house, which kind of brings me to a video that you did, Miss Janet. And this was a perfect video that I'd like to share with my audience. And it's about smart labels. And, when I talk about in my course, the after of what you do when you buy your home, of taking care of the home maintenance and moving and how to organize your move. When you have your video that talked about the smart labels, I thought that was brilliant for people who need to move to stay organized,
Mhm.
because this whole process is about organization. And if you're buying a home on your own, you have got to be organized, very detail oriented, and you have got to keep things orderly, know what to throw away, know what to keep. It is a very intensive process, but you can do it. You can do it with good guidance.
And as you were talking, I thought about something else about what happens with somebody who is really not organized, who doesn't, have someone like you to really take them along, the journey, the process. Because I was thinking of when a client of mine wanted to buy a condo, and the person, she had them on speakerphone, and they said, "So, how much money do you have to put down?" Well, I knew from not only working with you, but also just from previous experience, you don't tell them everything. Because she was about ready to tell them everything she had in savings, and I was like,
No.
and so when somebody is not organized and they don't have things in order and work with somebody, what are some of the things that unfortunately they have to, deal with? Those consequences.
Absolutely. Yeah, they could they could lose a whole lot of money.
Mm.
They really and truly could. So it is about educating themselves. If they're going to do it by themselves, just don't do it willy-nilly. And sometimes family members might give you wrong advice. So it is so good to do some research on your own. Speak to professionals. Speak to attorneys. You can call up escrow companies or title companies and get some good advice. There are people out there that will help you. But and another thing I noticed, like when people buy their own home, sometimes they can get very emotional, And when you're buying real estate, you cannot be emotional. You cannot be tied to the home, just blabbing your mouth and giving a whole lot of information, too much information. You need to hold something back so that you stay in control and that you are the one that is very confident and sure of what it is you're doing.
And and that's good, Connie, because when you said that, I thought about somebody who the one sibling had bought a beautiful home built from the ground up. The parents were kind of, I guess, forcing another sibling, like, well, you need to live in that community. Now, mind you, they were
Mhm.
had two different lifestyles. The sibling who built the house, married, children, etc. The other sibling, single. And
Yes.
eventually it just wasn't a right fit, so they really moved out. But also, you know, what are some of the things, when we are, getting organized and really looking for that new home, that real estate, is there something, should we have a checklist? And I say that because the other day when I shared with you the 15 outlets in the bathroom, that was hilarious. I'm thinking you taking the shower, you could electrocute yourself, but that was just me. But like, should we have, like, this is what I want? And also, should you
Mm.
even question if there's a house and you do see, like, well, why are there 15 outlets in this bathroom? Should you be, proactive and say, why? Ask questions.
Absolutely. You've got to have a checklist. You really and truly do. And you have to, again, take that emotion out of it. And you have to look for practical things. Write down what it is you're looking for in a home. Write down your needs and then go and see if they have it, and people can like just go to open houses, ask questions. That's what you should do when you go to an open house. Ask the seller questions as well as the listing agent questions. Look for, like you said, if there are outlets in the bathroom or if there are drawers. Do you want drawers in the bathroom? But if you aren't organized enough to have a checklist of what your specific needs are, then you're just flailing in the wind and you can't do that. And I know, Janet, too, that, a lot of people that perhaps are like moving from an apartment, a lot of things they don't think about,
Hmm.
especially when they're moving into a home. It's a whole nother beast when you move into a home. And the idea of homeownership is fantastic. But there are things that go along with homeownership that you need to understand. The maintenance, you need to understand, sometimes it may not have everything that you're looking for, but can you live with it? So, having the checklist of your wants and your needs are so important. So, spending a little bit a time with that is going to help you in the long run. Absolutely.
And also, I think working with somebody like you, because I love being able, as I look at small houses or tiny houses, whatever, and showing you what I like, but then you would come back and say, well, Janet, the second floor is more like a loft. You wouldn't be able to stand up, or the bathroom. Yes, you can stand up upstairs, but then you got to go all the way downstairs and go to the bathroom. I'm like, oh yeah, you're right about that. So that,
Yeah,
and I think that's a benefit of really working with somebody like you. So,
absolutely.
so,
Absolutely.
so, Connie, this is a question I ask all of my guests, and I always like to know, how do you stay organized? Whether it's your space, your time, or whether it's your life. Like, how do you do it? Because you're managing, your business, but you've also got your clients, you've got your classes, you got your individual consultations, and of course, you got family and friends as well. So, how do
Sure.
you do it?
Oh my gosh, I'm a technology geek. I'm a closet geek. I don't like to admit it, but I love technology. And I don't want to plug, which is what I'm going to do, is plug certain certain project management systems that I use.
Mhm.
But I use Monday.com and I use Apple Reminders. And on my website, Buy Without Realtors, I use a CRM where I keep track of all of my clients. I keep track of all of the appointments, and it also syncs with my calendar.
Mm,
So I tell you, it is a lot, but technology is as it is that you can stay organized and stay on top of things. The CRM that I use on my
mm,
website is called Fluent. It's
mm,
Fluent Community, which is absolutely fabulous. And like I said, I'm not plugging it, but it really is a great organizational system, at least for me and for the clients that I deal with. So that helps me tremendously. And then also just, having my calendar, I
mhm,
have to have my calendar. I have to know what I'm
mhm,
I'm doing. And those Apple reminders, ridiculous. Yeah, they're
mm,
absolutely wonderful. And they're
mm,
getting better and better.
mm.
So yeah, that's how I stay organized, Miss Organized Janet.
So, excuse me, Connie. So, how can the listeners, those watching, connect with you?
Wonderful. They can go to my website, buywithoutrealtors.com, and then they can also check out my YouTube channel. And my YouTube channel is where I have videos that educate people on how to buy during the whole home buying process, as well as the terms, the real estate terms that they may be unfamiliar with. In addition, Janet, my consulting that, I have on my website, it's not just about people that are buying homes. I consult with people that just have basic real estate questions.
Hmm.
Like if somebody has inherited a house and they live in an apartment and they don't know what to do with the house, I can offer them alternatives or tips on what to do with that house. In addition, if somebody has no idea what a home equity loan or line of credit is, that's something that I can assist with in my consulting business. So,
Mm,
basic
mm.
questions about real estate, I'm more than happy to assist with that.
And see, now you just give me another idea of another topic we have to talk about, Connie, the inheritance, because not only do people inherit the houses, but they also inherit the stuff in it. Ah,
Absolutely.
mm.
Absolutely.
So,
Yes.
of course, those watching and listening know I will have all of Connie's links in the show page so you can connect with her directly to either sign up for a course. She's got products, and of course, you can work with her one on one. Well, Connie, thank you so much for joining me
Thank
today.
you,
This has been a
Janet.
fabulous
Great.
conversation.
It's wonderful. Thank you so much for having me.